Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is April 11th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see Washington, Oregon. You can see the storm out over the Gulf of Alaska. It kind of looks pretty nice here on the infrared satellite imagery, but a lot of this energy is going to dive down towards California. It will bring some precipitation here across Pacific Northwest, already kicking some lenticular clouds off the Cascades of Washington and Oregon, and maybe even some severe thunderstorms here east of the mountains. Then we might warm up for some areas of Pacific Northwest, and then we've got another system will be arriving as we go through next week. Now, taking a look, you can see all the cold air cumulus off the coastline. Again, you can see the lenticular cloud action across the higher terrain of BC, Washington, Oregon. Nice snow-capped Rocky Mountains out there as well. Always fun to look at on the GOES 18 satellite imagery. And this frontal system will eventually be spreading precipitation across western Washington, Oregon, already ongoing across Vancouver Island and western BC. Taking a look at the weather outlook, and you'll notice the National Weather Service Spokane does talk about this chance of thunderstorms. This is for tomorrow here. And then we're going to warm up a bit here as we go through the weekend, and then another system is going to come through here. I'll show you that in the weather models in a moment. Now, this is where the severe thunderstorm action could be very close to Grangeville. It includes Enterprise and Baker City, for example. The Blue Mountains, here's I-84. As you go off to the south, includes Boise as well. So watch out for that dangerous lightning, some gusty winds, and some severe hail even as possible with some of these storms. And if we take a look at Medford, going to be dealing with some of this wraparound moisture from that storm that goes down into California as we go through the weekend. You can see some rain chances above 50% there, and there's chances of some thunderstorm activity as well. Now, looking at the warming through Sunday here for the northern Rockies, and it's going to include that thunderstorm threat here as we go through tomorrow, but then a cold system is going to really target some of the northern Rockies and some of Montana as well. I'll show you that in the weather models here in a moment. But this is day one. You can see we are thunderstorm threat free here across the Pacific Northwest today. But as we go on into tomorrow, you can see we do have that severe risk. And if we click on hail and wind, you can see those threats out there. So heads up if you're out and about. And some of those thunderstorms could get up towards the Oregon-Washington border into southeast Washington as well. Now, taking a look at day three, we're not done with the thunderstorms yet also. So this would be from Saturday morning on in through Saturday afternoon. Thunderstorm threat will exist in these areas. Now, looking at Seattle, 58 degrees yesterday. Actually, this is for yesterday on the 10th, 58 degrees. That's exactly the average high for this time of year. You can see by the time we get to the end of April, we are averaging 63 degrees and starting to warm up here in the Pacific Northwest. And the record high for today is 80. We're not going to get anywhere near that. You can see some of these record highs getting up into the 80s on a daily basis. And check out that 89 back in 2016. What a scorcher that was. And if you want a nice affordable home weather station, you can click on the link down below to save 10% off. Ultrasonic anemometer, haptic rain gauge, all solar powered, stores all the data for you in the cloud. Now, taking a look at what's going on here, North American map, you've got Alaska here, there's Washington, Oregon, 500 millibars, and you can see the trough in the storm that we saw on the infrared satellite imagery moving down the coastline there and parking itself off the California coast. And we do get a bit of warming for some areas, maybe southwestern BC, Washington getting the most of that. A lot of this moisture is going to be impacting Oregon as we go through this weekend before that system finally clicks down to the south and east. And then we get this next trough, a pretty chilly air mass associated with this one as well as we go through next week. You get some convergent zone activity and maybe some mountain snows. And then what's to come after that? Who knows? Flip a coin at this time frame here. We're looking way too far out into the crystal ball, but it does show some troughing remaining with us through the extended. We'll see how that trends. Now, taking a look at 850 millibars, this is 5,000 feet. Here goes the system. You can see the bulk of that cold air going down towards California, but then the next system is pretty chilly here as well. It's going to bring some cold air here across the Pacific Northwest and some of Montana here as we go through next week, and we'll be nailing down those details as we get closer to it. Looking at the timing here, you can already see as we're going through the late morning and now we're headed towards the afternoon hours. You can see some of this precipitation already starting across western Washington, moving down into Oregon as we go through this evening and tonight. And then again, the bulk of that moisture moving to the south. But on the day Friday, some of this could be thunderstorm activity here for eastern Oregon into Idaho, maybe clipping southeast Washington also. And then we go through Saturday, maybe another day of kicking off some thunderstorm activity again here. And then this wraparound moisture, as you see, is going to be with much of Oregon as we go all the way on in through this weekend, kind of leaving Washington high and dry, but indeed bringing precipitation all the way through Sunday afternoon. Now, we're now moving into Monday, and by that time, the next system is going to be rolling in here. You can see some convergent zone signature action going on here, and hopefully this can bring some mountain snow and some nice mountain snows with it at that. Taking a look at the North American model, again, just kind of checking the timing of this. You can see precipitation starting this evening here and kind of a weak frontal system there. And as we go through Friday, watch some of these storms out here across eastern Oregon. These are eventually going to move north towards Washington, Oregon border into Idaho as you go through tomorrow night. Could be some prolific lightning producers there. And as we go through Saturday, maybe again, you can see the thunderstorms starting to pop up there as we go through Saturday afternoon. Looking at the temperatures today, 57 Seattle, a little bit warmer across Oregon, and not bad east of the mountains as well. And actually, let me back up there, and we'll go back over that again because I want to show you tomorrow's temperatures. Bouncing back a little bit, especially east, and then we go through Friday, Saturday. You can kind of see where the cloud cover is going to be, but it still warms up a bit here for eastern Oregon. And check out eastern Washington. They're nice, and maybe some upper 70s to be had out there on Saturday. And then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, as you start to bring that next system in here, you can see some of this chilly air moving down across the Rockies, especially in the higher terrain. Maybe get some nice snow out of that. And we'll look at the total precipitation inches. Just kind of want to point out, like for Seattle, only expecting, 12/100ths of an inch. Portland not expecting much with the initial wave of that system. But you can see as we scroll through this weekend, some of Oregon not doing too bad, but the best amounts across Vancouver Island, western BC, higher terrain, some of the west slopes of the Olympic Mountains here as well, and some thunderstorm activity over the next couple of days will bring some precip. Then you can see the next system kind of slide down in here and hopefully bring some nice mountain snows with that. And looking at total snow, let's see, western BC, not too bad. Western Washington, not squeezing much out of this first system here. But we do have some hope with the next one. As you can see, we start to pile up a bit of snowfall across the Rockies and the Cascades and Oregon here as we go on into the early portion of next week. We'll watch that one closely. Take a look at the 6 to 10 day below normal signal here as we go through April 20th. I've been mentioning that cold system there. Here's below average signal here along the west coast for the same time frame. Here's the 8 to 14 day, kind of an above average signal here. We'll see how this turns out though. You're going to take that with a grain of salt at this range. And 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook below average here across the west coast. We'll see how that turns out as well. And not doing well across a lot of Washington. Kind of to be expected here for El Nino years, but some El Nino years can be pretty close or even a little above average. So this is kind of to be expected, but it's still not great seeing it. You can kind of see it, the lack of snow across some of the peaks there across the Cascades, and BC is not doing well either, where they had record forest fires last year. Hopefully that's not going to be a reoccurring theme again this year. And you can see Idaho and Montana are not doing that well. But once you get down across some of the southwest actually, in southern Oregon, things look much better here. So I guess maybe we can cross our fingers and hope that La Nina delivers as we go on in through next year. But anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. Just got back from Texas this morning. Had a great time out there in southeast Oklahoma. Caught the eclipse, chased some storms yesterday and the day before, and tried to get some lightning strikes. But nothing compared to what I'm going to be seeing out here as I go through May and on in through June. So anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.